So I was watching your videos because I was watching like this Breakfast Club interview, and I heard about wholesaling real estate. And at the time, I was very comfortable in my position, but I was just like, wait, there's a way to make money without using cash and credit and all that stuff. Yeah. So I was just interested, like, what is that? what does that look like? So, like, I Googled wholesaling, and your video came up, and I was like, oh, he's like a country guy. This so, you just seem really chill. And,
super chill.
Yeah.
$41,000 on their first 3 deals. How did this couple from Chattanooga, Tennessee, by way of New York City, do it? They're going to tell you how. Stand by. Let's get it.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Hello guys, this is Ty, aka the Flip Man. And today out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, we have Akoa and Robert. And they reached out to me, she did anyway, and said they had a story to tell, and based on some of the other interviews that I have. And so I'm always looking for value to bring you guys where you can learn, I can learn. And so here we are. So how's it going, guys?
Great.
It's going great.
So happy to be doing this.
Oh, boom. I'm glad you all had the time to do it, for us. So just to get on into it, basically I just start just to you guys just to explain a little bit about your background and what led you into real estate and, into the deals that you've already done. So if you could just start there, just for us, I don't know if it's more of a story together or you also have met, at some point before the real estate or how that happened. But if you could explain that for us, and we'll go from there.
All right. Sure. All right. So I met him yesterday. No, just like I met him about 8 years ago. We've been together for 8 years now, and we met in New York. Quickly, my background is loss prevention and investigations. So I was in, I'm used to like catching shoplifters and interviewing executives of companies for stealing merchandise and stealing money. So completely opposite of real estate. And I was doing that for about 8 years in New York City. And then you can just have a little background.
I sold cars, Nissans everywhere. And that was in New York as well. It was, I always felt like I was in, I went from job to job pretty much. I did a whole bevy of things customer service related. So it was all encompassed into one thing,
Okay. Are you all from New York?
I was born and raised here in Tennessee, and then my mother took me and my siblings, I'm the oldest, to New York about 15 years ago. We have no idea why she moved us up there, but we went up there and we stayed with some family. But I'm from the South, like I'm from here originally, so I have a lot of family down here.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I cut you off. I was just curious about that part of it, but go ahead, Robert. You were saying.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Brooklyn, born and raised. My father, Haitian, my mother, Haitian. They grew up with pretty much nothing, the typical story. And, real estate was a big part in New York. Everything's so expensive. So my grandfather had a brownstone, which is a 4-story, house. My father was lucky enough to get one and did buy real estate secondarily, buy properties and stuff like that. So real estate was kind of a big, I was evolved into it at an early age.
Yeah, mine is completely different. Like mother was on Section 8, mother was on food stamps, all that kind of stuff. So I never knew about like home ownership or anything involving real estate at all. I kind of took like a very separate, tried to kind of put myself through college kind of thing. That did not work, by the way. And I just kind of stayed along the track of like kind of being an employee, working in security and everything like that, which I never even imagined. I don't think anyone really like grows up wanting to like catch or wanting to catch shoplifters or getting punched in the face or all that kind of stuff. And that was that was the path I took for far too long. But I loved it. I can't lie. It was great.
Okay. That's what's up. All right. So let's fast forward. You guys met. I guess you doing your thing or whatever. Yeah. I guess Robert, you already somewhat had, like you say, family members in real estate or whatever. But what led you to this? So.
To be honest with you, I came home one night and I remember Ayoka she had like this deep voice guy on the laptop. I'm like, who you think on? And it ended up being you. So she would religiously, I mean, like stalker, like watch all your videos, everything that you would put out, emails, everything. And I'm like, you know, I'm making good money selling cars. You know, I'm not going to pay attention to this, you know, but one day, you know, I ended up, you know, just being honest, I got fired a month after selling 22 plus high dollar cars. The company got sold and new ownership just wanted, you know, new people. So I came home and
backing up from that a little bit, right before he, so I was watching your videos because I was watching like this Breakfast Club interview and I heard about wholesaling real estate. And at the time I was very comfortable in my position, but I was just like, wait, there's a way to make money without using cash and credit or all that stuff. Yeah. So I was just interested, like, what is that? what does that look like? So like I Googled wholesaling and your video came up. And I was like, oh, he's like a country guy. This so you just seem really chill. And
super chill.
Yeah.
Super
so
chill.
I was just like, let me just watch it. I don't know how many videos of yours I watched. But
oh my God.
I would just
Stalker.
I would just watching like everything, and then like I would write down notes and stuff. And I was like, you know what? We tried doing it in New York actually. Like I bought signs. This is prior to him getting fired. Like maybe like a week or 2 weeks. And, you know, I ordered the signs off of, I think it was Dirt Cheap Signs that you.
Thanks for the discount, by the way.
Yeah. And then I'm like, all right, let's go around New York and try to, we're in Queens, New York. I was like, let's just go and try to put up signs. So we'd go around, put up signs. And nothing really happened with that. Like a lot of them got taken down or whatever. And then I was just like, well, you know, we could try to do this in Tennessee. So, because I have family down here, we would frequently visit like once or twice a year. So I was just like, you know, houses are like dirt cheaper than in New York or whatever. So I don't know how it happened, but I just came up with this like master plan of like going down to the South for a little bit, taking a leave of absence from my job or whatever, and doing it. So that was our plan, my plan. He was going to stay up here because he really didn't have too much interest in it yet. But I knew he's the type of guy that needs to see the money first. So I'm
definitely
like,
gotta see the money.
if I'm like, I just go down there and I'll flip, and I'll get a check, and then I'll show him, and then he'll be completely down. But you know, so my plan was to come down here by myself for a little bit. But then I think I told my VP I'm going to come down here, and it was approved and everything. On Tuesday, he got fired from his job. So Tuesday night, he in, and I was like, listen, just watch this with me. Like it was so crazy how everything happened. I'm like, just watch this with me. You're going to be interested to do this or whatever. So Tuesday night, he's watching some of the videos with me and everything. At this point, he has to be all in because he ain't got no job, right? So he's like watch it. And Wednesday we booked the tickets to just come to Tennessee together, and like just for like we booked
I think it was like
the
for a
bus.
week, or we took a
so,
bus down for a week or
so
something.
you can pretty much get those tickets to come back up anytime or whatever. So we came down here. Am I skipping anything? Oh yeah, we were making cold calls and stuff in New York, and we came down here
to 6 appointments.
To one owner that I got prop stream deal you later from you. So then we were making cold calls that night, and this owner said, "Hey, yeah, I got 6 properties that he wants to sell." So we were like, "Let's buy the ticket now." So we booked the ticket, and this is like some magic thing because that next day, that Wednesday, we looked in our account and $2,500 just showed up. It's like insane. This was like $2,500 that I was supposed to get from like a tax return like last year. And I don't know, out of nowhere it just showed. So everything just kind of seemed, everything just kind of seemed like it just happened for a reason. So that money was enough to like pay our rent. Our rent up there was like $1,700. So it was like perfect for, it was like everything was just set up that way.
Okay, so you all flew down to Chattanooga to this particular appointment because you had already started targeting that market. So take us through how that went once you got down there, because you were familiar with the city or whatever, because you would go down there periodically or whatever. So how did that go?
I mean, being familiar, coming from New York, very little familiar about the area, because when you're coming to visit family, and if they're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere outside of that area. So coming down here to those appointments, prop stream, I just want to say to everybody, if you do not have prop stream, you need to get it. The number one. Mm-hmm. So we were able to get a general idea of the location just by putting it into the application. And, we went there, and it was a lot at once because this was obviously our first appointment. So a lot of emotions, a lot of sitting in the car, watching 1 or 2 of your videos real quick before we go knock on the door, just quick refreshers. And, we went in there, and it was just, a lot of your videos helped, but I feel like we were just new on the scene. So, it was a little bit of a learning curve to a lot with 6 properties too, as well, trying to, figure that out. It was insane.
Okay. So how did that turn out? Did you do a deal on that particular transaction, or how did that actually turn out?
Yeah, we actually put them under contract. And then when we started like advertising to buyers, we actually had this one buyer that I think we got off of like Homevestors or something. We called the Homevestors site sign, and
super green. We were super green.
Yeah, it's like just complete news. But he kind of was a good perspective for us because he showed us that we were like too high, like with the mortgages and the house condition. Because at that time we didn't know a whole lot about repairs, or like even if some other, like just having like an idea of amounts was like kind of completely new to us. So
learning crime rates in the area, and seeing if your buyer has balls to kind of invest in a disenfranchised area or not. So it really was a lesson of finding out if just because one buyer wouldn't get it, if that buyer was open enough to invest in that area. So
but long story short, those 6 houses, we had to go back and renegotiate with the owner, which he was happy to renegotiate, but unfortunately, because his mortgages were too high. If we would have known about sub 2s and stuff then at that time, probably would have went that route, but we just had to completely abolish all 6 on that with that owner. So but we learned a lot.
Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. That's what I try to convey to people. You all, made a few mistakes on that, but what you learned was more valuable than anything I can teach you, because it was from experience or whatever. So So fast forward to what happened next after that, because I'm sure, were you all discouraged, or that gave you more fuel, or what?
I think I got more fuel. How about you?
Man, I was like, man, I was this close to getting 6 properties off of just one phone call.
Yeah.
Call on my list of like 100 calls was that those 6 properties.
Yeah, so we were like,
I'm like, you know what? Like, this is great. Like, let's put, pedal to the metal and keep going. So our next deal, which was
actually, yeah.
When was this? When was this? The time frame as far as like, was it in 2019 or 2018? When was it?
2018.
2018
is August, yeah, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
So we did that. And then I guess we were very motivated because we went back to New York in September and sold everything out of our apartment. Like we just sold everything.
It was, man, if you could have got, that was the deal of the century. We were selling everything.
Because the apartment, everything was new.
Everything was brand new.
So we sold everything and we just came back down here, stayed with some family. And like we just completely changed our lives completely. Like we just stayed on the couch with our family. And then we just started
watching
getting back
more
at
videos.
it, watching videos. And then what happened next? That was the house then we got a house under contract the next month in October.
Yeah.
And that one was the one that taught us so much.
Yeah. It taught us quite a bit where we got a house. There was a house.
Well, how did we find it?
So we were driving for dollars, of course. Absolutely necessity to do on your daily routine. We were driving for dollars and we saw someone mowing grass. Mm-hmm. And me being in the car business, I'm like, I talk to anybody. I don't care. And she teaches in the South is different. You can't just go up to people's front door and knock and say, hey, at 6'4", sell me your house. It's just not possible.
Well, you can, but
you can, but I do it. But because I just, I want to make money. I'm in it.
I just want him to know, like, New York, people don't have guns. Like here, it's a very different thing. Like everyone's carrying. So like, just be aware that this is a different kind of mentality. Not that you can't do it, but just be aware that these people, like, they're a lot of them are carrying grandmas, everything. So,
but. So I pull next to this guy that's mowing the lawn of this house, and I say, is this house for sale? It looks like it needs, the condition looks a little off. And he put me in contact with the owner. Spoke to the owner. Owner told us that it was
like the caretaker.
Yeah. And the caretaker told us that the house was, vacant for 20 years. Completely rundown house. But you could not tell me that was, being that we got a lead, you can't tell me that wasn't the most beautiful potential mansion, in the downstairs, heated marble floor. You can't tell me the potential.
Oh man, it was horrible.
Any house that you see on your first deal, you think it's the potential's crazy. So we see this house. The minute we see this house, we're like sharks in the water. Blood. Let's look for comps. Let's speak to the owner. Let's do what we got to do. Let's get videos.
Yeah.
We eventually get the house on the contract.
Yeah. Well, we spoke to the caretaker of the owner. I'll make it really quick. We never met the seller until the closing table. So she was kind of like the one that was giving us ideas about what he'll want for it and all that stuff. So we just completely was trusting that she actually knew the owner and all of that stuff. And it was funny because like she when she met us at the property, she's like, can I just take a picture of you guys? So we're like, okay. And she took a picture of us and we felt really funny about it, but it was just interesting that, like, I guess she wanted to, like, if anything happened to this house, she had a picture of who did it or whatever. Right.
So, mm-hmm. Which never again, that will never happen.
We'll probably never do that again. But but yeah, so anyway, so we get that house under contract. We had to do a couple of renegotiating. My uncle, we found a buyer because we got the house under contract for, I think, I can't remember.
Like we get it for under contract for $40,000. We ended up finding a buyer, and the buyer's interested. The buyer.
Whoa. You got in the contract. You got in the contract for $40,000. What ARV did you come up with?
Our ARV was
so super green, right? So we're super green. We're thinking, all right, this house sold here, 0.5 miles, $120,000. So we're like, ARV's $120,000, and houses down the street, they're in good condition. This house would probably need maybe 30-40 grand worth of work. So we're like 80 grand, and we'll wholesale it out to a buyer. That's what the repairs would be.
Oh man, we were just so off. Like, this was not even a flip house. This was like a complete, like, either you fix it up and do a buy and hold, or you're going to just completely demolish it.
Yeah.
Like it would flip at all. But so I can't remember the exact numbers we got the house under contract for or whatever, but it was at the end of the day, we started at 40, and when we got to the closing table, the owner was only getting like 9,000. Like, because we had to negotiate that much.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So like, I think.
Wow. Okay. Let's go through that then. Wow. So you got in the contract for 40,000. You thought the ARV was 120, maybe 40 in repairs, so you had 80. All right. So what did you got in the contract? Well, let's go through that first. To when you go into the caretaker, did you make the offer of 40 grand through that person, or actually spoke to the owner?
We never spoke to the owner.
We never spoke to the owner.
We only spoke to her. And she, like I said, had direct contact, of course, with the seller. And he told us that, I guess she told us that he wanted like 40 grand. I think it may have been a little bit higher. Somehow we got to 40, which we put on the contract, sent it via email to her, and he signed it, sent it back and everything. No earnest deposit. Yeah, we didn't put any earnest deposit or whatever. And my uncle, we know this local buyer. We didn't know him at all, but we knew that he had a lot of properties just because everybody like speaks about him. So landlord. So we just asked my uncle to give us his contact information, and we knew he was obviously a buyer. He had properties. So contacted him. He told us to shoot it to him. We never ever saw this buyer until we closed the deal and still never met him. Yeah. This is a small town.
Okay, let me ask you this. How did you get the contract over to the seller? By hand, email, or what?
Email. Yeah. We sent it via email.
Okay. All right. Now with the buyer, so you use your uncle's connection on that. Did the buyer ever come out, the potential buyer ever come out to view the house? How did that work?
Yeah, he went to drive by it, and we didn't have to be there because it was vacant, and it was vacant enough that you could enter the premises without like.
Oh, it was open.
Yeah.
It was open. Okay.
So
all right. So what price did you all sell on with the buyer?
So funny
this
thing.
Is where it got interesting,
So this is where it got interesting. So this house has been sitting in this condition for about 20 years, and right when we put it on, we find the buyer and we're like, here, 40 grand.
Yeah. And before that happened, we were asking, I think like 46 from the buyer, because we knew it needed a lot of work.
Yeah.
So when he saw it, he let us know that he was not willing to pay that at all, that he would be at like, I think 25.
Yeah, he would be at 25. If we can get to 25 grand, he would buy it. That would be his number. Yeah. So our first negotiation is cutting down the seller to about 18, the teens.
Yeah.
And so we put him under. We get to the teens. We inform the buyer that we got it at the 25 max number that you want.
Yeah.
Here it is. So he says, I'll take it. It signs the contract. Again, gives us no earnest deposit.
Yeah,
We didn't know about earnest deposits. So the couple days after, the city comes by and places a condemned order on that property.
Yeah. At the time,
you're already laughing. You already know what's going on.
Yeah. So at the time we have seller at a certain amount. I think like 18,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then we have the buyer at like 25,000. A couple days later, the city comes and condemns it, and he calls us.
He calls us and he's like, oh man, this just got condemned. I'm gonna need to cut the price.
Yep.
It's condemned. The city is giving me X amount of days to do it. If you can't, I need it at like 13,000.
Yeah.
So we're like, damn, we went from earmarked getting this check done to now we got to go into a second negotiation with the seller.
No, third now.
A third negotiation with the seller. Yeah. And
get
try
them
to get
under
this
13,000.
right.
Yeah.
and meanwhile, this buyer is telling us that here's my point of contact. You speak to this person directly at the city. You do this, do that, it just from that point on, we start realizing that this buyer knows everyone. Since he has so many properties, he has over 60, 70 properties in the city. When we talked
to the city, they already knew everything. Like they've already talked to him, so we know. Long story short, that he had set that up to get the property condemned.
Right.
There's where the hustle is. Wow. Okay.
It was. So of course now the seller is saying to us, this property, the seller thinks we did that on purpose. Yeah. They don't know about the buyer. So now the seller thinks that, this property has been sitting like this for 20 years, and all of a sudden you come around to buy it and it's condemned, and now you want to renegotiate again. So it just looked like horrible. And we're like, we promise you we had nothing to do. They had to call the city and find out what he needed to do. And, that was a really sucky situation, but it showed us, we learned a whole lot from that too.
And even the buyer sending us directly to his specific title company that had our contract, and they knew exactly what our spread was. He was in the full loop. So this is 100% the buyer taking control of the deal, which has never happened to us ever again. 100% the buyer took control. He moved us left, we moved left. He moved us right, we moved right. So it was completely not in control.
Yeah. So long story short, we had to take in, I think, 9,000. We ended up making the same thing you made on your first deal, 2,500 basically.
Yeah.
So after everything, okay. So you made 2,500. Okay. So how? Okay, you got the seller to agree. The buyer's on board with the amount that you all agree. And I guess what it was, 11,500, 9,000 from 11,500. How did?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so to make the 2,500. So how did the closing go? You all never showed up. I mean, they never met each other. He just brought the money in, the seller signs, and they just tell you to come pick up your check, or how did that work?
Yeah, the buyer never came to closing. He already had his funds or whatever he had taken care of. So we, and then the seller, we met the actual seller at closing for the first. That was our first time meeting him. We sat in the whole process, of course, and they gave his check and had signed the papers, and then we were trying to tell them, like, don't give us our check yet. Like, we don't want them to know we got anything yet. Right. So we just let them know, like, hey, just give us our check, like, after the whole process is done. And then we got our check, and we all just said bye after that. We never worked with that buyer again. Like, that was just insane. Yeah.
Wow. So, okay. So now it's real, right? You hear that it's real, but now it's real. So you made 2,500 on that first check, on that first deal. I know you had some bigger paydays. If we just want to go through maybe I think you said you had a couple of them you made 22,000 on or whatever. Yeah. And just if you would just go through one of those for us.
Yeah, we picked one that was like probably the most interesting lesson.
I'm a big negotiator. Like if I'm afraid to take shots, I take seller that I meet.
Yeah, but he's like embarrassingly low. Like I know you say like
you never know. You never know.
I know you say you should be embarrassed by your number, but his is like
it's only embarrassing to you. It's not embarrassing to them because they need to sell it. No. That's my motto.
Like his numbers are just like I'm like so.
But anyway, anyway, I have no shame in my opening offer game whatsoever. But so we come up to this house in a huge hot part of Chattanooga, and it's 4 years delinquent, which should be the Christmas time for every real estate investor. That tax time is Christmas time.
Yeah, and we were just learning about how tax.
just learning about that, and we come to this house that has been looks run down, bushes are overgrown.
Worst house on the best block.
Worst house on the best block by far. And we find the owner, and he's in Georgia. What are you saying, Ty?
How did you come across the lead? That was driving for dollars also, or?
Yeah, driving for dollars.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So we see this house with overgrown brushes. Her in her investigative, expertise, she's able to find anyone, like Facebook, Instagram, anyone she can find. So we ended up finding this guy. He's in a home in Georgia, an hour and a half away. So we're like, you know what? It's in the middle of the day. We literally just seen this property on the best block, and we drive an hour and a half, and we go talk to this guy. He rolls up. We roll up to the place, and he's in a wheelchair, Yeah,
he's like 72.
72.
Before we found him in that home, we actually found another local, I guess home. that it said that he may have been in. So we went to that local home first, and then they told us everybody knew about this guy. They were just like, "Oh yeah, he's not going to sell that house to you." We've all been trying to buy it from him, And, they're basically just discouraging us. They're saying he's one of those old men that's going to make all types of dirty jokes to your girlfriend. Just relax. Yeah. Everybody was just basically telling us, stay away from him.
Yeah.
Like he's crazy. He's not going to sell it to anybody.
I think it was either the mayor of the town lived right next door to him. So they were the neighbor across the street. Everybody was waiting for this house to go to auction.
It was going to auction that year.
Everybody wanted it to go to auction. The people in the retirement home, they knew him. They knew it was going to auction. They wanted to bid on it. This house was hot. 2 months away from auction. 2 months away from auction. Everybody's telling man, don't go to him. Don't talk to him. Don't do anything. So we ended up finding out he was in Georgia. Yeah, we ended up finding him in Georgia. I don't care. If someone tells me not to go, exactly what I'm going to do, because they haven't watched your videos, or I don't know if they watch your videos, but you've taught me to.
The gator!
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
You know what that gator means? That means you did some big dog stuff.
Yo, man, I don't care. I don't care. I will. Anyway, let's not get too aggressive here, but. So we go there and we roll up to him, and he's like, the judge is supposed to help me with this. Everybody's telling him, hey, just wait. We'll take care of it. Just let it get to the auction day, and then we'll take it. They're playing with this guy's mind, letting him think that he had extra time. Yeah. So regardless, we do our little negotiating here and there. Can I just describe this man? This is old man. I don't know if we could say his race or whatever, but
go ahead. Yeah, we real here. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Old white man, 72 years,
set in his ways. I'll just leave it at that.
Set in his ways, just angry at the world, but smart at the same time. No family messes with him because he's I don't know. I guess he's
crazy.
Yeah, he's kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
But it wasn't a mental home he was in. Retirement home.
Yeah.
So he was just real country, old school man, and he's just oh, my house is, well, it's fine. It's not gonna go to auction, and the judge is helping me, and this and that. Just and obviously us being young, and I hate to use this whole young and black thing, but he's looking at us we're jokes, so we're like, all right, we're gonna have to like. This is our second deal, by the way. Like this was our actual second closing deal or whatever. And we're just like, we're gonna have to butter this man up a little bit, like
Coca-Cola.
We're asking him like, what do you like or whatever, because he can't leave this facility.
Yeah, man.
We're bringing him cakes. We made a couple visits to him before we got this house under contract with him.
Oh wow! Okay. That's what I was about to ask you. So when you roll up to the place, do you just go in and ask for him, or you had to make an appointment, or how did that work?
So we went in there and the owner, the clerks or whatever is there, and they're like, why do you want to speak to this guy? Nobody comes to visit him. What do you want? The minute we set the house, they was like, oh, they wanted to close the door, and I put my foot in the door so she couldn't close it. And I said, yeah, I want to talk to Mr. Rose. Can I talk to him? And she's like, all right, give me out the door. And he rolls to the backyard by a fence, covered in a fence. And we talk to him. He's in a wheelchair. I'm 6'4", and I get low to his level. So, and I just tell him, listen, I want the house. What do I got to do? Your price, your terms. Let's get it done. It's going to auction. Let's get it done. What do you got to do? I have cash. I'm not going an hour and a half away to waste your time. So, because
we could tell that he was like a straight up. Yeah, we could tell he was like a straight up man. The Gator's coming out.
Gator, man. I'm gonna put on the.
But we could tell he was like a straight up guy, so you had to have that same like kind of straight up attitude with him. Anyway, we left with no contract, whatever. But we're like, we're gonna come back. We're asking what does he like. He gives us a few like cakes and ideas and stuff. So we go back home. We do our research on the house. We know like. This house is
the ARV is about the ARV is about 220, 210, something like that.
Yeah, like it's literally the best house on the block. Or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, we do our numbers and everything. Then we go back out to Georgia, or whatever. So like it's like an hour and a half drive from us, or whatever. Go back out there, bring the cakes and stuff, or whatever. Talk to him some more. It's hot as hell outside. Yeah. But we're out there and we're talking to him through the fence. Yeah. Or whatever. So Rob gives him an offer. So
I give him an offer. Like I said, the Gator will probably come back a third time. I give him an offer of $10,000 right now.
He'll come back. Let's hear it.
And we asked him if we could see inside the house and everything. Yeah. The door was open.
The door was open. We
were shocked.
So and like I said, it's not just giving somebody an offer of $10,000 and hopefully they take it, but it's really just gauging your situation and seeing.
Yeah,
you yes. You know what I mean? So I want people to see this and be like, go ahead.
Yeah, you're trying to see what their real motivation is, right? Now, if they tell you to get the F out of my face or whatever, now they save both of you all some time, right? You know what I'm saying? But if they still like entertaining it, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, no, I can't do that or whatever. Well, how close can you come to that amount?
So anyway, so we put him on the contract at $10,000, right? Mm-hmm. He takes the number and complete. Yeah, I feel like I said too high of a number. I want to go to $5,000. I'm the whole ride home. I'm thinking I offered too high. You know what I mean? So I'm pissed. She's like, no, you did good. So anyway, we have this house under contract at $10,000.
We go. It's in great condition.
Great condition. Hardwood floors.
He's updating, but like as far as foundation and
roof, everything's great.
Like we were like shocked because he apparently lived there like since he went to the retirement home. So ever since when he went to the retirement home, they were supposed to be paying his taxes for him, but nobody was paying.
Yeah, because they wanted the house.
Yeah, so everybody was after the house, basically. So,
so did he sign a contract then, or y'all have to send it back to him?
We signed it right in person.
Right then in person. At that, and while I gave him all the cakes, while he's happy and everything, so here's the contract for $10,000. He signs it, and we good to go.
We're like, yeah, we can mark this up for $80,000. Someone's gonna take it right now.
Yeah,
or whatever. But then we get a phone call the next day when after he signed. We get a phone call from him, and he's basically like, "Hey, I got another offer on the property. This is the old man that was the old man we're dealing with. He's like, I got another offer on the property, so I'm not going to accept your offer, but thank you. Because he ended up talking to someone at the home, letting them know that he's selling it to us. So now we drive back, got some more cakes and stuff or whatever. We drive back to Georgia, and we're like, all right, we're going to, like, what happened? So now he knows we're coming. He's there. The owner's there of the
facility.
Yeah. So we're like, we're kind of, so this guy, he's like, you know, the owner, he's like, oh, you guys can't offer him this. I offered him 30 or whatever. So he's like, so now the old man's like, yeah, so I'm going to take his offer. And now we're like, okay, now we see like everyone's in like,
yeah. So I realized what's going on. Everybody, they're going to wait till tax time and let this house go into via tax. So I'm like, all right, you know what? My margins are crazy on this house. I'll beat your offer right now. If I can do 40 right now, will you sign the contract? He's like, well, you know, yeah, I'll sign the contract. So I said, all right, you know what we'll do? Because I know this is going to happen. He's going to talk to this person, this person, that person. Everybody, it's going to be a bidding war till the end of time. So I said, we're going to put our contract the day after the auction. Yeah. Okay. June 5th, the day after the auction for 40 grand. Okay. The contract we're using, by the way, is your contract that we have 100% faith in. Okay. It's simple and it covers all bases. Okay. So we put him on the contract till the day after the auction.
Yeah, which is essentially like 60 days from that
60
point.
days.
Yeah, so which we know we didn't need that long, but we just wanted to stop from like trying to cut in before the day. So we're like, all right, we're just gonna put it out this far. Earnest money or $1. No, we gave him $1.
We gave him $1.
We gave him $1 earnest money, and then we put it under contract. All right, everything's good. We advertised it on Facebook Marketplace
for a day, 2 days.
Yeah, for like 24 hours. Got a buyer instantly.
Yeah,
or whatever. And at this time, we're working 2 deals. So we anyway, I don't want to go into that. Whatever, it'll take up too much time. But anyway, so this buyer anyway ended up buying this house that we're talking about and another house we had under contract with a whole nother buyer.
Yeah,
whatever. So it kind of worked out beautifully, but. Facebook Marketplace, the buyer came out, got to know him, looked at it.
How much?
We asked.
How much on Facebook Marketplace?
Marketed for 70 grand.
Yeah.
But you know, I was a little pissed because the only reason 30 grand of my profit got eaten up just because someone was greedy on, you know, the other end. But you know what? We marketed for 62. We actually marketed for 70, and then we gave them a little bit of space here or there.
Yeah, because they took both of our deals.
They took both of our deals.
So we were just like, all right, we do like a package. Yeah. So the guy, he loved it or whatever, and we end up closing on the other house first with this buyer or whatever while we're still working this out because we got another contract from Mr. Rose. Or whatever. Yeah. So another call, I'm sorry, from him saying, hey, thank you for your offer of 40 grand, but my friend Marty just offered me 45. So I'm going to take his offer and, you know.
Wait. he was just giving no weight till he had already signed a contract.
Yeah. Let me tell you something too. We go back there when he tells us 45, right? We go back there and I'm like, what's going on, Mr. Rose? Like, what?
He wouldn't even talk to us.
He wouldn't even answer our calls. He's like, can you tell? We hear him in the back, and he's like, can you tell call the police right or harassing me to sell me my house? They're harassing me. I said, I swear to God.
We were like, oh my God, can't you believe this just happened?
Yeah. So I go like this. I said, right in the doorway, I said, my contract is until June 5th. I'll see you in court if you ever try to sell that. Because I was willing to put a show that I was willing to pay for.
Well, cloud the title,
like, whatever. But
like, I can't believe this just happened.
Yeah. So he tried to call the cops on us, everything. But long story short, we ended up closing that deal.
Before the major part that happened is his friend called us and he said, hey, we see you gave I don't know if you guys are trying to wholesale this or if you're actually going to buy it. And then he's like, but I'm going to take this to the finest attorney in the town.
Charging $250 an hour.
And yeah, so he basically was just like, and I'm going to see if your contract's legit. This is the moment where we're like, we have to have ultimate faith in our contract, because like, obviously, this never happened to us before. So we're like, I'm kind of nervous. I'm just like, have faith in the contract, have faith in the contract, whatever. He calls us back like a couple of days later. Mind you, we already told our buyer what's going on, so they know like they're just on the sidelines at this point. The friend calls us back a couple of days later. He's like, well, your contract's legit, so I'll buy it out. I'll buy y'all out of it for $50,000. And we're like, no, because we know what we can really get for it,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So, oh my God, this was just so insane. So, we're going back and forth with the friend. We're at the house with the buyer one more time. The friend comes to the house out of nowhere. This is when we find out that the next door neighbor is some like
commissioner of the
city or something. So she comes out and she's like, are you guys going to turn this? I hope you're not turning this into a low income housing.
I said, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. Yep. Well, so bad. Okay, I'm turning it.
Oh.
We just get ourselves into. The person across the street wants it. The next door neighbor wants it.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're going to call James because we tried to buy it from him a few years ago. He's a crazy person. And, they're so upset that we have another contract with this guy.
Yeah.
Like they find out, everybody ended up finding out what we had a contract with him for. The friend, the neighbor that doesn't even talk to him. And they're all just after it, basically. So long story short, because now his friend knows that our contract's legit or whatever, after going to his attorney or whatever, now James or the seller knows that the contract is legit. So we had to get a mobile notary to come out to Georgia. I don't know how many times we went out there, but for closing, we had to get a mobile notary to go out to this guy. And we're so nervous because we know any second he would just be like, I'm not going to sell it. My party's buy it. So I tried to tell the notary person, I'm like, listen, he's a little older. We have the contract. I'm like, so we kind of probably have to keep the conversation with him to a minimal or he's going to like go off. And she's like, it's okay. I like talkers. And then we go, and I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what we do. Whatever. We go in there. The lady was talking to him and stuff. While he was signing over everything for the deed, he says, hold on, I got to call Marty.
And he gives me the phone. I said, no, I'll call him. You sit there, relax. I'll call him.
Yeah.
I said, hey, Marty, how you doing? Oh, yeah, you want to do $50,000? I might be able to do $50,000. Give me 2 hours, and I'll give you a call back.
So we just wanted everything signed and closed out on the seller's end. Got everything signed and closed out, whatever. Buyer got it. Ended up making $22,000 on that one or whatever. But it was like so much we went through to get this deal closed. And then after, even though everything was closed, he still was calling us and saying, hey, I think I'm going to move back into the house. I'm not sure. But if you call it back to me, I'd appreciate that. We're just like, man, we are so done with this
we have to block his number. But yeah, so that was a good deal.
What did you make on the other deal? You say you had another deal that you closed right before that one with the same buyer?
Yeah, that one was tax delinquent as well. Won the auction. We made 16.5.
Could have made more. That's the one deal I regret wholesaling because that was at a 32% cap, and I offered the house.
It already had tenants in it, paying $700 a month. We got it under contract with the seller for $11,000. She just wanted to get rid of it.
11,000. Yeah, right.
And then we sold it to the buyer for $27 or whatever. So it he was just happy with the return on it. The tenants were on paying. So we just wish we would have bought that one, but. At the end of the day, this buyer, we've done a few deals with him and his wife now, other than those two. But it was just, that was our second actual closing or whatever. Yeah. And it was just like, no closing is just easy.
No. So basically, 2,500, 16.5, that's 19,000, 22. So that's 41,000 in the first three deals.
Yeah. That was like just a few months, and like I wanted, like we just came down here. We didn't when we came down. I was working my job remotely from New York, just on the laptop, and we were driving for dollars. I'm using 2 laptops: my work laptop, my personal one for business, and Rob's driving. And I realized it was just too much to do, so I kind of just let that job go, just stepping out on a limb. I mean, we only had like a little bit of savings, and we're staying with our family members and just not knowing where this could go. But we just had like, just watching your videos and just taking action, like you always say, like, and we just went out on a limb and just said, let's just try this and see how it works. It's obviously real. That 2,500 was enough to show us how real it was.
If my motto is, if you don't have a plan B, plan A has to work. So we just made plan A work 100%.
Yeah.
Well, wow, guys. Yeah, you were right. These are some all-time stories right here as far as your first couple of deals. So what's next for you guys? I know you've done quite a few deals since then, but what's your daily activities like now?
Yeah, we're still like a 2-person show. So Rob does all the cold calling stuff. I'm like the systems. We try to mess with like a little bit of everything. We do door knocking, we do calling, we do bandit signs still, we do text blast, email blast, everything. We're just trying to like reinvest back into like all different types of marketing and trying to network, of course, because I think it was something about moving to a city, even though we had some family here, like we don't have friends or anything. So now we're trying to like network and see who other players are in the cities, and just trying to expand from just the 2 cities that we do, which is one of the cities is like about 30, 40 population. And that's right, the neighboring city to Chattanooga. Chattanooga's probably like around, I don't know, 180 or something, or whatever, like 3 times.
180, 200, somewhere in there. Okay. Yeah.
Expand and get some rental. That, yeah.
Any thoughts on ever, because obviously wholesaling is going on in New York. You just have to understand that animal is different.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about, trying to figure out that part of it, since, you all know it, you know what I'm saying? That's the advantage that you'll have. Number one, it works, right?
Yeah. You
just have to figure out how it's going to work there, because people still get divorced. You still have Mr. Roses somewhere in New York, that own some real estate. You know what I'm saying? People still die. They lose their jobs or income. You can vouch for that, Robert. And so on. Just everyday life creates motivated sellers, but there's a different dynamic in New York, just because the way real estate is. You got a whole apartment building, 100. You got 100 different owners in there. So now you got to go with all those different ways of how real estate exchanges hands there and so on.
Yeah. I think the number one thing coming down here that's different from New York is, one, you're not going to see houses boarded up in New York. It's not going to happen. Your telltale signs of a house that's vacant in the South is going to be completely off from what's in New York. So it's necessarily the 5 boroughs. Yeah. So it's hard to drive for dollars in New York. One, with traffic is going to be super annoying. You're not going to get anywhere. And then 2, looking for a house that's boarded up is not going to happen. So the big thing there is foreclosure, tax delinquent, probate, waterless, stuff like that. But like I said, even if you're in California down to Alabama, down to Chattanooga, down to New York, it's all an ARV game. Still motivated sellers everywhere you go. The only thing that you're thinking about that's different about it is, oh man, can I really say that I'm going to buy your house for $750,000 or $75,000? It's just ARV.
Yeah.
And sellers every single where you go. But the interesting thing is, when we were in New York, I actually was able to get buyers. Like the buyers, I mean, as soon as we just started
everywhere.
Oh man, I have a guy that would, even while we were down here, he would continue texting us, and he's saying, I need a hotel, 30 million, under 30 million.
Yeah, we have this guy.
7 cap. Like he's constantly, hey, you got new land, you got new residentials, got in New York. So like, I guess it's really just like, you know, finding the problem to solve. Like, because
the money,
like you said,
we already know the money's everywhere, but we know it's in New York because the world is investing there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you find an opportunity there, that $22,000 check is a $220,000 check, but you've done the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's there. Again, you all have an advantage, and I'm confident you all going to. And I'm gonna love to hear that when that happens, because I know you can't sleep on that because you're so familiar with the market or whatever. So anything you guys want to share before we get out of here?
I just want to say, when I was in New York, before we had a deal, before I even knew like what the contract and all that stuff would even look like, I knew I was going to be doing this one day. I knew I was going to be on your YouTube. When I was watching like the other testimonials, like I knew for sure one day I would be doing it. And I'm just happy to be able to like do this, whatever, because it's so important to just affirm things over your life. I tell people like, you know, it's just so important to like see, even if you can't see it in that moment of how you're going to do it, like it's so important to know like you're going to get there. So I have a lot of thanks to say to you and just your videos and just everything that you just everything that you just exposed for free. Like, you know, just
that's crazy, man. You should charge people, man. Seriously, seriously. Because
you know I do. I went down my stream of texts with you all before we come. And she asked me, how much can we come down at? And I gave you a price. I charge. It's just that I do give it all away, but if someone wants to get into my time, that's a different ball game.
In it, I feel like
it's pennies.
Like it's like that's more like before I was like, God, 10,000. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, but like now I'm like, man, that's such a perfect or even less than perfect charge for someone to spend time with you and learn all of this. Like it makes perfect sense why you would even say that amount. Before I was like, God.
Well, the reason I throw that out there, and I never get into these prices, but you threw it out there, so I got back it up. But when someone says, "Hey, well, how much can I come to Birmingham and spend a day with you or whatever?" Or if you come to my city or whatever. So I throw out 10,000 because not that I don't want to do it, but you need to make me do it. You know what I'm saying? Because because it's taking me away from what I really do is try to do deals. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I throw the number out. If somebody want to pay it, then now you force me to do it or whatever. I'm going to do it at my best if I do it. So.
To even backtrack further for you and not even listen, we're trying to get experience from you that it's taking time away from your business. That is 100% valuable, and you have every right to charge whatever you want. If Bill Gates told me $1 million for me to spend a day with him, I would see it as valuable because it's Bill Gates. So you even putting your mindset, you putting a number of 10,000 is too much. You're not ready to be in real estate. You're not ready to be an entrepreneur, because you should be thinking about, how do I 10X? How do I make $1 million a deal? How do I make a 40% cap, 15% cap? How do I get buyers, private money? It's minuscule money that we're talking about to learn a life from somebody that's been doing it for so long, so great. It should be more, in my opinion, but hey, I'm not doing it.
Hey man, I really, really enjoyed this interview, man. You were right. Help me with the name.
Ayoka.
You gotta hear it.
I was going to say Akoa again. Ayoka, you were right when you text me. You said, "Oh, you're gonna want to hear our story." So you were right. You were dead right.
Thank you so much, man. You're the best, man.
No problem at all, guys. And again, we thank them for sharing their time with us. And guys, as I always say, we will see you on the flip side.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.